The Registered Disability Savings Plan, or RDSP, is a specialized savings vehicle established by the federal government to foster long-term peace of mind for individuals with disabilities. The plan has specific requirements for eligibility, management, and the retention of funds. While we often hear about the financial growth potential of these accounts, the most critical aspects for any family to understand are the legal and administrative rules that govern who owns the account and who is authorized to make decisions on behalf of the beneficiary. At the heart of every plan is the beneficiary, the sole individual for whom the account is created. To be eligible, the beneficiary must be a Canadian resident under the age of 60 and have a valid disability tax credit certificate from the Canada Revenue Agency. While a plan is often opened when a beneficiary is a child, the transition to the age of majority changes the legal dynamic of the account. In the province of Quebec, the age of majority is 18. In other provinces, the age of majority is 19. At those ages, an individual is generally recognized as having the full exercise of their civil rights, including the right to manage their own RDSP. The person who opens and manages the RDSP is known as the holder. When the beneficiary is a minor, the holder is typically a parent acting in their capacity as a natural tutor. However, once the beneficiary reaches the age of 18, they typically become the holder of their own account, provided they are contractually competent to do so. The holder is the primary decision maker, responsible for overseeing contributions and authorizing payments from the plan. It is a fundamental rule that while there can be more than one holder, such as two parents acting together, there can only ever be one beneficiary per account, and the assets always belong legally to that beneficiary. In Quebec, when an adult is unable to make their own decisions due to a health condition or disability, the law provides 3 specific ways for someone else to help manage their RDSP. The first option is for people who prepared for this possibility in advance by signing a legal document called a protection mandate. Once a court officially confirms that the person can no longer manage their affairs, which is a process called homologation, the person named in that document can take over as the account holder. If no such document was ever signed, the court can instead establish a tutorship. In this scenario, a judge appoints a person to act as a tutor, giving them the legal authority to manage the RDSP and make financial decisions that are strictly in the individual's best interest. Because establishing a formal tutorship can be a lengthy legal process, there is a temporary federal measure known as the Qualifying Family Member, or QFM rule. This rule allows a spouse, common law partner, parent, or even an adult sibling to open and manage an RDSP for an adult whose contractual capacity is in doubt, provided no other legal representative has been appointed. However, it is vital to note that this is a temporary provision currently scheduled to expire on December 31st, 2026. Accounts opened under this rule before the deadline can continue to be managed by the family member, but the window for using this simplified path to open a new account is limited, making it important for families to address management roles sooner rather than later. Finally, for those who are still capable of making their own decisions but find the process overwhelming, Quebec offers a simpler option called the Assistance Measure. This allows an individual to officially register a helper who can talk to the bank and help gather information. But unlike a tutor or a mandatory, the assistant does not take over control. The beneficiary keeps the final say and remains the legal holder of their own account. The QFM rule is a federal workaround, while the assistance measure is a provincial support tool. Regardless of who manages the account, the RDSP is governed by a strict federal rule designed to ensure the funds are used for the long term, for the benefit of the beneficiary. Many eligible people in Quebec miss out on significant support simply because an account was never opened. By ensuring that the correct holder is named and that legal protections like mandates are in place, families can secure the long-term benefits of the plan while remaining compliant with both provincial and federal regulations. Because these rules involve legal definitions of capacity and specific court processes, consulting with a professional who understands the Quebec Civil Code is always a prudent step in the planning process. If the holder of a registered disability savings plan, such as a parent, dies, the account does not close, and the funds remain the property of the beneficiary. Because the holder is only the manager of the plan and not the owner of the assets, The primary issue is a vacancy in management. If there was a surviving joint holder, like a second parent, they automatically become the sole manager. If the deceased was the only holder, a successor holder must be appointed to authorize contributions and request withdrawals. In Quebec, unlike other provinces, you generally cannot name a successor holder directly on the bank's account forms. Instead, the right to manage the account is typically passed through a will via the estate's liquidator or by legal appointment of a tutor or curator. If the beneficiary is a capable adult, they usually take over as the holder themselves. If they are not capable, a qualifying family member like a spouse, the other parent, or a sibling can often step in as a successor holder under temporary federal rules. This possibility is currently extended to the end of 2026. Until a new holder is officially recognized by the financial institution, the account is effectively frozen for management purposes, meaning no new contributions can be made and no payments can be issued to the beneficiary. There you go. I hope this overview has been a helpful starting point for you on this journey. If you are looking for clarity on eligibility or would like to speak with someone who can walk through the administrative steps for your specific situation, feel free to reach out. You can find my email address in the description below. Thank you and have a wonderful day.